You remember Snake, right?
Yeah, well, we're gonna get to Snake later. What is it? Oh, no, I didn't put it on the slide. Okay, well, anyway, Snake was one of the most popular games imaginable for mobile gaming. It is still one of the most popular games because it is pre-downloaded onto like various smartphones today. So very easy to find and use. And yeah, feature phones, like you see how we have the little Motorola Razr here? Things like that offered more hardware power, which allowed better graphics for mobile gaming.
Who here had a Razr? Okay.
Actually, I'm kind of wondering, what's your favorite phone, like other than just the smartphone? Like, did you guys have a favorite cell phone? Oh. Oh, we'll consider first gen Galaxy old enough to be included. So the ability to download and store applications, which allowed for commercial mobile gaming publishing. And there were also there are a lot of different standards for gaming, different programs that they use, different middlemans, because at this point, there wasn't a single market that allowed people to download mobile games onto your cell phone. It was always a different kind of middleman that was not in accordance with that cellular market usually. And mobile gaming actually grew fastest in Japan before it grew in the Western countries, just because they create a more single line middleman. So it wasn't that they had a bunch of different ones, they had a singular publication that they could download those games off of. And then we had 2008. And 2008, we had the iPhone that was created and the release of the Apple App Store, which absolutely 100% revolutionized mobile gaming and what jump-started everything to today is because it got rid of that middleman. It was part of their software, and being able to integrate games onto that singular software made it like a more unified programming situation for developers. So it was easier to create a game that could go easily onto multiple phones. Anyway, so the App Store was very important to the development of mobile gaming. And we had these early mobile games like Angry Birds with Friends, Pocket God, things like what I think the bottom on the right is Scribblenauts. And these also jumpstarted an economy in which they could capitalize on product outside of the mobile game itself, just because it became so popular. What was everyone's first app that they had, like first video game app? Words with Friends? Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah.
Clash with Clans, Angry Birds, what's the other one? Words with Friends is what I've heard so far, right?
Yeah. Mine was actually Temple Run. Does anybody still play those games, by the way? Oh, that's nice. That's actually... Do you have friends that still play it with you? Well, still a nice little community there. So anyway, Apple debuted with about 500 apps in 2008. And today there are currently 2.8 million. I actually did this panel last year, and last year at the same time, there were only 1.25 million apps. So the amount of variety in the app world has greatly increased. And the revenue in 2015 was 2050. We're jumping way into the future. 2015 was 29 billion, and they're predicting over 45 billion by 2018, like an increase overall in the industry. But it is like around yes? Actually, that's taking into account, this is just the Android store. So this is just like Google Play, or if you were on there, 2.8 million apps. I didn't use the number from the Apple Store because typically they have more, oh gosh, not's tight the word. They control about what apps go in there more than Google Play does. So people who use Google Play actually have a greater access to a bigger variety of apps. I wouldn't say it would double because including Apple, it's the same apps. It's just that Google allows more on there with less standards. So you're still getting, it's just the total number is probably what Google Play has. It's just that Apple has less because of those tighter standards.
Yes.
You know, there's actually a group that does research on the video game industry and specifically on the mobile industry itself. However, in order to access information and kind of like logistics of the usage of apps and certain things like that, you have to pay a subscription fee, which is like $200 a year or something. And I'm like, for this one panel, I'm not going to do that. I do not have that kind of access. I would like to. I mean, it's very useful in the gaming industry if you can access information like that, so developers will know that type of information. But if you were someone who was like an independent developer making mobile games, you probably wouldn't be able to you wouldn't be able to have access to the information that these big corporation developers have. People who are making like Candy Crush Saga, people who have made Angry Birds, they probably have access just because they have a multi-million-dollar company, and they can afford like fees like that. But it definitely is something that hurts the independent creator to not have access to that information.
Quick question: is anyone involved in game making in this room? All right.
Anybody a developer?
Nope, no, it's no biggie.
All
It's just
right.
that MAGFest is full of them, so you never know who's here.
Yeah. You know, there's actually a whole room in here, not in here, but like in the convention that's devoted to indie gamers, and they all present the games that they've created. It's pretty interesting. I would really suggest going to that particular room because you'll find quite a few interesting apps and games there.
Support small businesses.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, so 78% of mobile app developers that were identified as millionaires produced mobile games, which is really awesome, isn't it? However, there is a mobile app poverty, which is about $500 per app per month. And about 2.9 million app developers, 88% make less than $10,000 per year from their apps. So you would actually, if you're the basic indie developer making your own apps, you would really have to make quite a few apps in 1 year in order to make even the standard of living of what you're supposed to have to be able to exist, because 10,000 is really not adequate when it comes to being not when it comes to being a developer, but being able to survive in our current society. But it is unfortunate that indie developers can't advertise their apps as much or tap into this large market, because it is a multi-billion-dollar market, and you have these large corporations that have kind of a stronghold on it, and it's because they also have access to the sort of information that they probably don't. Okay, and also the development of freemiums, and it's like pay for play, honestly. This was one of my favorite episodes of South Park about this, because it's basically switching real money into fake money when you have these microtransactions in video games and these freemiums. And it's also definitely one of a very big aspect of mobile gaming in our current industry is having pay for play in video games. You hook people saying it's free, and you let them enjoy the beginning of the game, kind of let them learn it at a rate where it could be free, but then you make it harder and harder without being able to pay for certain aspects of it. And that's how a large majority of apps tend to make money. And there's literally every type of game imaginable in the current setting. I'm just doing the top 5 genres of 2017. So you have casual, puzzle, arcade, action, and racing. And you might notice that these statistics are kind of weird. Like you have 59.6% and then 57.29%. And you're like, that's more than 100%. It's because people typically have more than one app on their mobile gaming device, on their smartphone. So people are typically active in multiple categories of gaming, of mobile gaming. So that's why you have these kind of statistics like this. And casual gamers definitely make up a majority of the market. Does anybody have like a grandparent or an aunt who enjoys playing like mobile games, like things like Candy Crush Saga, puzzle games like on there? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, the casual gamer. You know, it's interesting how something like this can turn anyone into a gamer. And they certainly are part of the culture. And now let's talk about some of our favorite games. So anybody, I see one of you shaking your head out there. Pokemon Go was initially released in 2016 and developed by Niantic, and it involves location-based augmented reality, which is definitely on the forefront of the industry right now, using virtual reality or augmented reality to place video game aspects into our world. And it attracted plenty of controversy after its release. Does anyone remember when it first came out, the young girl who was going out finding Pokemon and then found a dead body? Yeah, things like that, things how it's had gyms in, or Pokestops in graveyards, and how they had to petition to have those removed from their location because you had people, or I guess trainers going around to graveyards and finding Pokemon and walking over graves. I think yes? That's okay. The casual gamer is someone who, oh goodness, it's not like going up rank or anything. It's more like gaming on the side, like saying you're in a waiting room and pulling up an app and just waiting, using that game as a distraction rather than being seriously invested into a game.
I think it really
It's
depends on the
multiple
person. Because honestly, look where we are. Music and gaming festival, right? Obviously, we like games and/or music. We are probably not casual people since, you know, we actively participate in the culture. Mm-hmm. This is literally probably just like your grandparents playing Sudoku that don't know what they're doing on it type of casual. I would say yes.
Yeah, I definitely know people who would be considered gamers because they play like maybe at least 4 hours a day, but they say they're casual just because they're not actually invested in the games. They just play it for fun. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would consider Fallout casual as well. I would say like, you know, one of the Final Fantasy mobile games where it's the whole Final Fantasy game downloaded onto your phone. That would not be a casual gamer. But someone who just downloads Bubble Witch Saga, or I guess Words with Friends, or oh gosh. Yeah. Or Temple Run. Oh. Yeah. But then again, I have met some people who are definitely invested in that game. and enjoy it. And I think they would consider themselves more serious gamers as opposed to the casual gamer.
Hence, person by person.
All right. So, that's...
So does anyone still have Pokemon Go on their phone? I am very sad to admit, I actually uninstalled it last night forgetting where I was going today.
Oh my god, Danny.
I forgot. I literally walked in, saw the sign, I was like, ooh, whoops.
Did you even get your Torchic yet?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I have never seen any of the fire starters, so that's why I was just like, ugh.
They just released Gen 3. There's still quite a bit of controversy surrounding Pokemon Go just because they do not have the development team that they need to be able to support how many people use the game worldwide. And also the fact that the Niantic is coming out with a Harry Potter game in the next year, I think in 2019, or it could be later 2018.
Yeah, I think it's later 2018.
Yeah. So they're coming out with a Harry Potter game, and we're honestly people still playing Pokemon Go are kind of wondering how that will impact Pokemon Go itself. Because, I mean, they are going to have different what? I think I think you can... I think you use spells and stuff to catch your point, gosh darn it, why are you making this hard?
What are you doing, finding the Death Eater?
Yeah, something like that.
From what I've seen based on the prototypes and theories, the Harry Potter game will look a lot like Pokemon Go. Like, you will run across a Dementor, zap, instead, look, I killed something. And I think it's more of, like, they're going that venue because a lot of people that play Pokemon Go want to battle. They like the violence, so I think...
I mean, I would honestly 100% be here for wizard duels. Yeah. I want that to happen so badly. Which, by the way, is anybody doing the wizard... What is it called? The
wizard party tomorrow at 5? All right, yeah. Does anyone here not know what it is? Okay, so tomorrow at 5 o'clock, somewhere in the convention, I think in the dealer's room, they're breaking a world record. They're going to gather all the wizards. People are going to dress up as wizards, gather in one spot, and they're going to be like, oh, look, all the biggest wizard gathering on Earth. I'm loading the event now so I can tell you all the proper information. But it starts at 5. It's at 5 to 10. They have a bunch of concert people like singing down there too. It's sponsored by the Cosplay Brothers, I think, or the Brothers Cosplay. And calendar.
Sorry, I just feel invested in this event because I want them to break the record.
Okay.
Because it'd be really awesome.
Here it is. It's the official Wizard Party at MAGFest 2018. It is tomorrow from 5 to 10 in the Gaylord. And... All right. This is the official MAGFest Wizard Party, and we are going for a world record. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, the largest gathering of wizards is 252 wizards. So we're going for 253. All are welcome to join the Wizard Guild. All you have to do is dress up as a traditional wizard. You could be Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Merlin, whatever. For more info on what will count, please see the pinned post under the event. But tomorrow, bands Mellow, Crunkwitch, Flabbercasters, X-Hunters, Super... Whatever. Okay, the point is, it's tomorrow. It's somewhere around here. You'll see a bunch of wizards, and if you just go buy like a Harry Potter hat or something, or a wizard hat, you'll be good.
You can join. Yeah.
Break a world record. Be a part of something bigger than yourself.
Danny. Okay. I put Otome games on here because that's honestly a genre that I love. There was that one point in time where I had about 5 Otome games on my phone at once. Things like Mystic Messenger, which is definitely one of the most popular Otome games to have premiered on phones, and I believe that was in 2017, 2016, that became available, and it was trending for quite a long time. Now we have foreign versus domestic companies, and things like Episode would definitely be our more domestic companies. You can tell from the art style how they differ. I'm Claire, you're our resident Episode expert here, I think. Actually, you and Danny.
I am.
Does anyone know what... Everyone knows what an Otome game is, right?
No.
Okay, an Otome game is a game where it's basically like an RPG, role-playing game, and you are a person navigating through whatever the story is based off, could be anything, and you have a bunch of people vying for your love. and it's them flirting with you, and you have to choose one of them.
And also, it's like, I would consider it close to virtual novels, where some of the games, the choices you make in the game impact the ending or impact the relationships in the game.
Yes.
So the more serious ones often involve a bad ending being death. There are other games that don't. And there are other Otome games that are totally just jokes. Like, what's the name of the one where there's an Otome game where it's the head of a person on a horse? Or is it a llama? I think it's a horse. Or it might be a llama. I can't remember.
Anyway.
So things like that are jokes. But episodes really interesting.
Question?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Although Otome is bigger than just mobile gaming, there are also computer games, console games. It's a genre that's across.
And also,
games.
it's not real people because Tinder is considered a game.
Yeah.
I found out recently when I re-downloaded it. So, yeah, Tinder's considered a game, and like you play the game with Tinder. It even says it like in the weird stuff now when it tells you
Yeah,
to
it
pay for
is.
Tinder. It's like, ugh.
Except that's real people, and that's a whole different world.
Yeah, it's not as fun, let me tell you. Like there is an episode about everything.
Well, that's also because what's really interesting about episode is you have independent writers and independent artists creating these episodes.
And they'll pay you.
Just one developer, yeah, and they'll pay you. So you can be anyone and submit your idea to them, and they'll be like, "Hells yeah, we'll do this." So you end up with a very large variety of content on just episode.
And episode's pretty big too because a lot of celebrities have gotten into it. Like Demi Lovato has a whole story about you're her backup singer on tour, and the other backup singers hate you, but her like stage manager's in love with you. Demi Lovato has one. Mean Girls has a bunch of them. That's a series now.
What about the Royal one?
There's one called The Royal Baby, which is the best. Because, so, who's seen The Prince and Me? Okay, cool. So, long story short, you go to college, you meet this boy, you like have your fun, and then like one day you're gonna go like, you pick him up at his dorm for his date, and then you find out, oh, sorry, I have to go back to my country. And she's like, oh, okay, are you coming back like after break? No, I'm the prince. Bye. And then royal baby is the fact that as soon as he leaves, a week later, you find out you're pregnant with the royal baby. And so you chase him back to his country where you find out he's engaged. And so you have the psycho fiance after you, and no one could touch you because you're literally carrying royalty. And like the queen's trying to kill you. Like the prince has a dead brother. The prince doesn't want to be prince. And I love it. Like they literally try and burn the castle down, trapping you inside, and like you have to escape and stuff.
So an intense Otome game right there.
Oh, the Dolan twins. They're YouTubers. They have one, and it's just you partying on a beach and choosing a twin. They're not all intense.
Yeah. But also these are really useful when it comes to companies making money because typically you're given a certain amount of credits a day that you can go through certain episodes or certain storylines a day. And then once those run out, you're like done for 24 hours. And a lot of people, if the story is interesting enough, a lot of people just buy more credits and keep going. So like one of those microtransaction games that you would have just so you could progress the story faster. Some companies offer you buying the entire storyline first, but a majority of people don't actually end up doing that. And I believe they make more money off of people not buying the whole storyline first because the more credits you have to buy, the more money it is.
And it's not always pieces of the story. It's just sometimes it's actions within the game. Like an episode, like you could pay to slap the girl back, or just you have to walk away and just turn the other cheek. So, and like I said, you just get so invested and you spend the money. We know someone who has spent $200 on a game within 12 hours. They were just so like, no, I will win. Win. Because...
Well, the company wins because
yeah,
he spent $200.
I mean, in most of the endings, you end up with someone, so it's not like you're forever alone. Unless you die.
That's
like
true.
the ones you play.
Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. And here are some of the funniest, like, screenshots from episode that I found. I just think they're so funny. Like,
like the bottom left one, it's Adam and Eve. and Adam's saying to Eve, but Eve, we can't break up. And then she's like, and then you have to decide, we got to populate the earth and turn back and go up with Adam, or you got to be like, I was warned about this. I cannot.
So it's also just one of those things that exemplify that there are multiple creators doing this, because if you notice, some of the art's different from the other episodes, so it's a lot of people working on one project, and I think that's really great that a company can offer that opportunity to people.
Oh, and another cool thing about these games is that they are not just for heterosexual relationships. If you look at the bottom right one, it's obviously someone getting a sonogram, and the lady is like, oh, got a heartbeat, and the beat is in my heart because the doctor's smoking hot, or it's just stomach acid or something like that. I can't see it from here.
It says, in my stomach, aliens.
Oh, aliens.
It's aliens.
Yes. So, and like I said, in Demi Lovato's app, you literally, in the beginning of the game, it's like, do you want to romance boys or girls? And you just click.
Mm-hmm.
But that was back in the binary days. Now there's more non-binary options.
Mm-hmm. All right, here's another app that is dear to my heart. Neko Atsume, the cat collector app, which is definitely one of those apps that is considered in the genre of casual gaming, because it's not like really you actively changing actions in a game. It's you going back to an app and seeing certain different cats come up that you can collect or put in your photo book. And that is definitely one of those types of things that is part of casual gaming. And people were actually, this was actually really, when it came out, people said that it was good for meditation, and it's good for people with anxiety, or good for people who have certain mental illnesses, because it's one of those relaxing apps. It's not something you actively have to do. It's not a puzzle. You just go in and check at it occasionally. So people were really suggesting using it for meditation as well, just because the music is also rather relaxing.
Has anyone played it? Okay, so not the most of you. Okay, I'm with the most of you. I see screenshots on Tumblr. That's how I know about this game.
Mm-hmm.
And you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Wait, I think Jay also has it. The most annoying thing about this app is that if you switch phones, you cannot transfer the data from one phone to another, so you have to start the whole game again. A lot of people just, you do not kill the cats. They still exist. Oh my goodness. They're not your own cat.
They're not Neopets.
They're not real either.
Oh, really? We're gonna get into that now.
Apparently, Claire.
Also, a lot of Atome games work like that too, but that's also how they make a lot of money, because people don't want to like go through the game slow, so they just pay to get through faster.
Mm-hmm. And luckily, this is one of those games where it doesn't really help to pay through faster, because it actually has a good in-game transaction rate where you don't have to pay to play, which is kind of nice. Okay, and here's one of the new ones that are really popular now. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which both Annie and I play. Has anybody started it? Has anybody played this? This was definitely released
High and proud people.
This is definitely released right before Christmas. Was it November that they released? Yeah, November that they released Pocket Camp. And people were really excited for this just because it offered a way to do mobile gaming for Animal Crossing, just a different kind of way. Not everybody has like a 3DS or anything where they could play. It was a new Leaf, I think. But a majority of people have mobile games, and so they could offer this on there. And when this came out, though, it was kind of heavily criticized for not having enough different kinds of actions you could do in the game. You're kind of limited to these different camps in there, and then your own camp. And all you can do is collect fruit, fish, and collect bugs. And people can get tired of that real quick. This is definitely another game that's considered in casual gaming for certain things like that. Although, if you are active in collecting different animals in Animal Crossing, then you would probably consider yourself a more intense gamer. The other kind of controversy that, not really controversy, but just interesting thing that happened is how people design their camps within the game, and how people, I think there was an article about it, how people were making prisons in their camps and like separating people with fences and everything. It was kind of terrifying. Annie, you looked very surprised.
So you're lucky you weren't caught.
Yeah, there were cults in the game. I know. And another.
People are like posting pictures of cults, and I was like, what?
Apparently cults are very active in Pocket Camp. Another criticism is that you can't talk to other people in the game. So you can make friends with people and you can visit them and you can buy their various wares, but you can't actually talk to people. What? Yeah.
Or League.
Or League. Well, even League. And I was on a certain train of thought. You can't talk to people, and you also can't craft your own clothes yet, right? You cannot craft your own clothes, so you can only wait for different things to appear in the market, and it's a very small variety of things that you can change your character into, which is somewhat disappointing, because in a game like this, you want to differentiate yourself from other people, but you really can't do that too much. So it's more like waiting for a game to update afterwards to have more features on it, which is something that is starting to see more common. Games will release early instead of later, and they'll have limited features, but then you wait for them to update for more features. It's something that happened with Pokemon Go, where at the time they released it, it really wasn't a game that I feel was ready yet, because I think if they had waited a year, it would have been at a better place for people to enjoy.
Final Fantasy 15.
We're not talking about turning games into Final Fantasy 15 or Kingdom Hearts, in which you're waiting for like 13 years, 10 years.
No, but like the game was not finished when it was released.
Oh yeah, no, it totally wasn't.
They
and their
just
servers
released.
were not ready for the influx of people. And that's actually something that also happened with Pocket Camp too. If you download it in the like very first 24 hours that was released, if you tried to play the game, it would typically disconnect from the server quite often. So that was something that they were not prepared for.
Yes.
Yeah, you kind of could.
I would think of it as an
An
advertisement.
because they're definitely tapping into the mobile gaming market to make people more excited or introduce to even more people their product. Because more people have smartphones than they do video game consoles. And you could easily attract that 3-year-old or adult who has never played Pokemon or something, who's never played Animal Crossing, and they're like, oh, this is an interesting app that's trending on here that's new, let me download this. And they'll be like, oh, I'm actually getting really invested in this game. Do they have anything else? So you could definitely see it as an advertisement.
It's also a way to test certain features, like we're all waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3. Every single game that's been released since Kingdom Hearts 2 they've said, this is us testing this out. Like in Birth by Sleep, the whole rotating fight thing where you, like X will always be attack, I think, and then you hit triangle to cast a spell and you just rotate through spells and stuff or abilities. That's something they were saying, we really want that for 3. I think they already changed their minds on that, but it's also these types of games ways to get quick feedback from people and just test stuff out.
So, yeah, that and spin-offs are a very easy way to grab people. So yeah, these could definitely be considered advertisements. So what games do you all play? What games do you enjoy?
Loud and Proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hearthstone.
Oh, yeah, that is a huge one.
How did we not cover that?
I know, because I don't think any of us play Hearthstone.
I played it.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, did you like it?
I don't. Okay, it's horrible to say. Mobile games are not my game platform. Like, it was cool, and like I'm into Warcraft, but I was just like, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It didn't stick with me, but it was fun.
Oh. Oh,
Yes,
okay. Yeah.
I was just at a panel for that. I was horrified. Not confused.
Those games are so, like, rhythm games on cell phones are so hard, especially when someone calls you or texts you, and then you're like, no, what's happening?
What about this side of the room?
Any interests? Any mobile gaming? What mobile game do you have on your phone right now, if you have a smartphone? Pocket Camp. Oh yeah, there's also that. Yes.
How did we not cover that either?
Has anybody heard about the League of Legends ripoff on mobile games?
Yes.
It's like called Rise of Legends or something.
Yeah, there's like 80.
Yeah, there is like a lot of them. It's literally the exact same game as League of Legends, but on a mobile game and not with Riot. And the characters are so blaringly similar to the characters in League of Legends. It's hilarious.
Which were ripped off of Dota, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wait, you played Kingdom Hearts Unchained. Kingdom Hearts definitely has a few games that would be considered advertisements on the mobile gaming market. There's Unchained, and there's another one now, isn't there?
No, I think they just updated it.
Oh, they just updated it. Okay. I really wish Square Enix would go to actually making Kingdom Hearts 3 instead of 3 different, or how many different spin-offs are there now?
They're not spin-offs. They're part of the main series. I'm telling you, people, if you haven't played the other games before you play 3, you're going to be lost. But there's about 6 games. But like Final Fantasy 15 even has like 3 mobile games that are advertisements for the main game.
Yeah.
So.
And then Unchained actually has plot relevant to the game, doesn't it? No.
She's thinking of Recoded, I think.
No, I am not thinking of Recoded. I know, like, I am looking at it on my app store right now.
Okay, you have fun. What other games do you play? What's that? Does he yell at you mean things? Oh, okay.
Dang it, they changed the name. It's Union X Cross now.
That was the update.
Yeah, that was the update. It used to be called Unchained, I swear to God. And I can find pictures of it on here. I can prove myself.
No one denied you.
I feel like I've been denied.
Okay.
Um,
What kind of mobile games would you like to see in the world?
More dating sims?
I'd like to see
Dream Daddy, the mobile game. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I heard something out there. No?
Anybody say anything?
Oh, okay.
Okay. But yeah, there are quite a few different genres out there. As opposed to another interesting thing that companies are starting to do is that they'll upload older games onto mobile games. So it's really just changing that format and updating it a little bit to make it more playable on your mobile phone. Or even there are simulators.
Simulators.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I also speak 2 other languages, so sometimes pronunciation gets messed up. Simulators, and you'll be able to download like NES games onto your phone or something and be able to play them on there. Mobile gaming does really open up a large venue for gaming in general. So I think, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, so...
this, but I don't know if it's entirely legal, but I had the Game Boy simulator on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
My iPhone 4. I had a bunch of like old Pokemon ones, like crystal,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's legal or not, but
I think a majority of the simulators are
Wait, simulators aren't
considered
legal?
illegal.
Whoops.
Oh yeah, wait, this is being recorded, isn't it? I'm sorry,
No.
but you just JK everyone.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'd take... I feel like we need a couple more years for the phones to be able to handle it and all the things you have to do in it. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the update. Yeah. I want to see Legends of Dragoon.
Oh my god, you were really invested in that.
I am really invested. I am playing it right now on a, I guess.
PS2?
No,
No.
it's a
where is
PS1,
it? Okay.
but it's on my laptop. And no, I'm on disc 2, and I could never beat it as a kid. And now that I understand rhythm commands, I'm like, okay, I get it. It's basically an RPG that was equated to Final Fantasy, except the combat was harder because it was a rhythm game, and it sucks. But the story is so good. The concepts. Honestly, I don't know how there's no sequel or no remake. But that's something I would love to see.
I'm honestly going through all these games on the App Store right now, and a majority of them are basically ads for different companies. Like, there's Super Mario Run, there's Stranger Things the game, Mobus Final Fantasy, Fantasy Chronicles, which is Final Fantasy Brave.
Bravely Default?
Pocket Morty's, what?
Isn't it Bravely Default? Is it Bravely Default? Or whatever?
Bravely Default is a DS game, 3DS game.
No. I just know Ariana Grande's on it.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, these are actually all literally kind of ads. Capcom, like, I mean, it makes sense to go into this market just because it's an easy way to grab people. It's like a hook into the industry, but I didn't think it would honestly be as many games as it is.
We cracked it, people. We literally just destroyed the mobile gaming empire in this room together.
And yeah, this is why indie gamers cannot make as much money as the big corporations.
But that's why they come to things like this.
Oh yeah,
So
they can meet new people. Support your small businesses. Support your small developers.
Are you a developer? Oh, okay. I asked that earlier, but I don't remember who's in and who's not because there are blinding lights.
Yeah.
I love them, though.
You always like having the spotlight on you.
I do. But it does make it hard to see you guys.
That is very true. All right. So, I guess we're gonna actually wrap this up now.
Yeah, we got 3 minutes.
Yeah. So reach us at I put Angela. I put my name on there. I don't know why I put my name on there. But if you go on Facebook, I'm a Woody Knitter, and then you can find our Reframe page on there. And then he's Lodestar, so he doesn't have his real name on there. But he's on Lodestar Cosplay on Facebook.
Oh, that might have changed.
Oh my god.
Okay, but also something else I would like to plug in right now. All right, so we have like 6 panels this weekend. Here's the other panels if you like us. And if you don't, well, you should still show up anyway.
Roast us on feedback then.
Yeah, like,
5 stars though.
5 stars.
Oh yeah, so if you don't know, like I said earlier, the guidebook app, you download it on your phone, you can check out the schedule. And so we are Rise of Mobile Gaming right now from 5 to 6. The next panel we have is called Party Unstoppable, and it's basically for people to meet each other and make a friend because we all know it sucks to do. So it's a panel devoted to that, and
it's 2 hours long too.
Yeah.
You can really become close friends with someone.
And you can just come and go as you please.
Yeah.
If you want to come late and go get
You do
food.
not have to stay for the whole thing.
If you want to go get us food and bring it to us during the panel, that'd be great.
I actually have to leave in the middle of it because.
Intro to knitting is at 7 to 8.
Yay! You'll learn how to make a slip knot, how to cast on, and how to make a garter stitch.
At 10:30 to 12:30 tonight, it's choreography for records and video game soundtracks. So if you're into dance or just into like fight scenes and movies and stuff, come to that and we'll talk about it with music because this is a music and gaming festival. What?
Yay.
Yay. It'll be very late too, so we'll see what pops up. And then our next panel is Saturday, 10 to 11, Making the Magics. And then Saturday night, midnight, Sunday morning, like that made sense, right? Yeah. We are hosting the first ever Total Drama MAGFest.
Anybody watch Total Drama Island on Cartoon Network?
Or Total Drama anything? Yeah. It's a panel designed
in
on Total Drama.
With it.
It's a game show, and there's a cash prize. So
yes.
You should come.
Come for that.
And then on Sunday, there is Stitches and Cosplay at noon.
Which is basically how you can incorporate knitting or crochet work into your cosplay. Yeah. Thanks so much for being here with us. We really appreciate you coming. We hope you enjoy your MAGFest. We have the whole weekend ahead of us. And thank goodness some of us avoided snow. especially the people from New Jersey
And Philly.
and Philly. Yes.
And even if you're down the street, congrats.
Yeah. We survived.